Let me respond to that. Okay, so the Virginia PTAC is headquartered at George Mason University. We are part of their MEX Center. That includes the Small Business Development Center, as well as us. PTACs provide counseling support to businesses looking to enter into the federal government and state and local market. We generally do not work with newly set up businesses. If you're a new business, you just have the idea in your head and you haven't gotten anything started, you may want to reach out to the Small Business Development Center at the George Mason MEC. Okay, we generally start with companies who have been in business at least 2 years and want to get into government contracting, have started to get into government contracting, and just haven't found their way yet. Okay, our counselors are similar to myself. I spent 30 years in the IT field with SAIC. My last 5 years of my career with them, I was the director of their small business program for the company. And our counselors bring same sort of skill sets, former govies, former employees in industry, and we bring our knowledge together to help counsel small businesses one-on-one to tackle state and local government. As I said, our assistance includes one-on-one counseling sessions. We have electronic tools. We do training seminars on how to do business. We especially target the socioeconomic categories, from veterans to women-owned to the small disadvantaged businesses, hub zones, okay? And we also work with large businesses because they come to us looking for procurement-ready small businesses. Here we go. We can help you with the following topics. And this is not, there's a lot of things that I'm not going to bring up on here, but anything that if you're trying to get into the federal government market, any question, any issues, any problems, your PTAC is there to help you, okay? We understand that the government market provides unique challenges, okay? Those of you in the government market, if you haven't looked at your SAM profile and dealt with SAM lately, that is one of the biggest challenges going on right now. For something so simple, it is a challenge these days. I hear somebody back there giggling. Okay, you must have been in there. But we help you navigate SAM. We help you get registered in the SBA Dynamic Small Business Search Database and any other government or vendor databases that you need to be in. We also help you and guide you through the certification processes for 8A, the WASB and EdWASB programs that are certifications by SBA, HubZone, and the Veteran and Service Disabled Veteran-owned certifications. We help you with marketing, identifying your customer base, the individuals you need to meet with, who you need to meet with, how to meet with them, what to say when you meet with them, okay? We help you research procurement histories. You can't go into the government unless you know, do they buy what you sell, whether it's a service or a product, and who's buying it, okay? How are they buying it? Where are they buying it, okay? We also do networking. We sponsor networking and matchmaking events, industry training events in conjunction with government agencies as well. We help you with identifying bid opportunities. We have a system called Bid Match System. It is a subscription system that's $150 a month, and it's only available to members of the PTAC. That will allow you to set up a profile, and it scrapes the federal procurement systems as well as state and local procurement systems, and it sends you a daily email of opportunities that match your profile. We help you with proposal preparation. Now, let me caveat this. We do not write proposals. We do not act as proposal managers, but we help you and support you with reviews, help you understand how to read an RFP. We provide in-depth training on that. Some very good trainers that we have that provide great classes on how to even read an RFP, how to set it up for a proposal. We help you with contract performance issues. If you are having issues understanding your teaming agreements and subcontracting agreements, what they should be, what should be in them, we can help you with that, as well as other industry requirements for packaging and property and things of that nature. We help you prepare for audits. If you have to go through one, we can help you with that, guide you through that. And as I said, we provide training, seminars, webinars that cover a variety of procurement topics provided by industry experts, government representatives, and procurement counselors. Okay, and again, I'll have a later on slide as to how to contact the Virginia PTAC, but if any of you are not located in Virginia, your state or your area has its own specific PTAC. If you don't know where it is, how to find it, if you go to www.aptac-us.org, you can locate your local PTAC. Okay, and if I didn't mention, our services are free. Okay. We are sponsored and we are funded by DLA currently. We are supposed to be transitioning over to DOD sometime this fall, but currently we are still managed by DLA. We're sponsored by DLA. So hearing the diversity of companies and everything out here that are on the line today, I kind of adjusted my presentation to talk about being procurement ready. Being ready to do business with the federal government. What does that mean? What do you need to go through? Okay. And feel free if you need to interrupt me with questions or wait till I get done, but please have your questions ready for me. Okay. So the first thing, are you ready to do business in the federal government? Whether you're an established company or a new company, you will need to be procurement ready for federal government and state and local government procurement. Readiness is the demonstrated ability of a small business to effectively participate in the federal government contracting marketplace. Okay, so are you ready? Again, you heard me mention SAM. If you're going to do business in the federal government, whether you're going to be a prime or a subcontractor, you need to have a SAM profile. Okay, it needs to be up to date, include your contact information, the NAICS codes that represent your capabilities and offerings, your PSC codes. Okay, that's product services codes or federal supply codes, PSC or FSC. If you provide services, it will be the PSC codes. If you provide products, it will be the FSC codes. In conjunction with that, you need, as a small business, you need to have an SBA profile. That includes a capability narrative that describes your capabilities and or products, keywords that describe what you do, what you offer, what you sell. It will contain your current SBA small business designations, and you can also list past performance in that profile. Okay. You need to have a capability statement. I heard someone stated that they have their capability statement. That's great. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Having a capability statement. This is what you're going to put in front of people who you will either meet with in person, that you will virtually introduce yourself to them during an email marketing campaign or during a virtual event such as this, because you can send this to them electronically. It's informative, it's not wordy, it's one sheet of paper. You can use the front and the back. I know some people, you've heard, don't put anything on the back. Well, I'm telling you, use that back, okay? We can flip over one sheet of paper, okay? It's tailored. You generally have a general one, but you can tailor it for your specific audience or the specific customer you're meeting with, okay? It should contain your key information, branded, your logos and colors, provide a company introduction, your contact information. You talk about your core competencies, your differentiators, what makes you stand out from everyone else who does the same thing. Your small business designations, your NAICS codes can be listed on there. It needs to align with your website. It's very important. Over my years of supporting small businesses, meeting with small businesses, you'd be surprised that when they get in front of you and they tell you what they do and they put their capability statement in front of you, then you go look at their SAM profile and their SBA profile. You can't figure out what they do because it's not consistent. All of that information needs to be consistent, okay, across all of those mediums. And then social media, okay? LinkedIn is your friend for the federal government, okay? If you want to follow people, you want to know what's going on at a specific agency with their small business office, you need to follow them on LinkedIn and they will follow you back. So your presence on LinkedIn needs to be up to date as well and consistent with your website as well as your profiles. The government does use social media. They will look at your websites, okay? Okay. I want to talk about business development and marketing. So you've gotten your SAM and capability statements updated, everything is well there. But now, as a business, do you have a business development plan and marketing strategy? If it's in your head, that's not a good place for it. You should do it in writing. And I don't care if you're a one-person company or you're a 10,000 employee company, you should have that strategy. It should be in writing. You should be able to capture metrics off of it, and you should visit it a couple of times a year to see if you are doing and living up to your marketing and business plan strategy. Okay. It must be your business plan and marketing strategy must be proven, manageable, and measurable. I like to tell my clients that if you were hiring a business development person, you need to be able to tell them how to do business development for your company. They could be the best business development person in the world. They can have all type of experience, but if they don't know how to do business development for you and your company, they are no good to you, okay? Who, what, where, why, how, that's what you're looking for. You want to identify your target agencies, customers, your potential teaming partners. You want to share market knowledge, competitive intelligence. You want to have a process for doing that, for looking for opportunities and processing and screening those opportunities. You need to have a pipeline development process, a capture strategy, your proposal and RFI, sources sought, RFQ response processes, okay? And throughout all of this, always be prepared to capture lessons learned, okay? This is a living document that you can change, update as you need be, as you mature in this marketplace. Okay, again, some of the elements there, your mission, your organization, key contacts, including the small business office, budgets, your procurement process, okay, your sponsors and influencers, your top players. I like to call them competimates because at one point, these large primes and small business companies and small business primes can be your partners one day, they can be your competitors the next day, okay? Key opportunities, okay? Are you looking at expiring opportunities? Are you looking at new opportunities? Are you looking at recompetes? Whatever your strategy is, you need to get it on paper, be able to explain it, teach it, instruct it, ingrain it in your business development process. You need to have a contact plan. You need to have your messaging down as well. When you reach out to people, what are you going to say to them? How are you going to address them? Why are you reaching out to them? Okay. You need to look at your opportunity pipeline, gather and record information. You need to research and verify opportunities. That's making sure that opportunity is real. Remember, within the government, if that opportunity doesn't have funding, guess what? It's not real. The government can't do any procurement on it if they don't have funding for it, okay? You need to qualify it. Qualifying an opportunity is qualifying your company to meet the requirements of the opportunity, okay? You have your action items as you're looking for opportunities, and we'll talk more about looking for opportunities in some upcoming slides. And then you have go and no go, or bid and no bid decision points in that plan, as well as you build your pipeline. Okay. You have to follow the money for government procurement, state and local government procurement as well. You need to know, as I said earlier, does the government buy what you sell? The target agencies, your customers, do they buy what you sell? Okay, you need to identify your target customer or agency. If you're looking at the federal government, you cannot market the whole government. It's too big, especially for a small business, okay? So get specific, target the agencies that you want to go after. Who's buying your product or service? How are they buying or procuring your products and service? What contract vehicles are they using? Are they using government-wide acquisition contracts such as the GSA schedule or MOBIS or the upcoming Polaris and the Oasis Plus that's coming up later on this year? Are they using IDIQs specific to those agencies? Are they using BPAs? Are they using other transactional authorities, OTAs? Are they using their specific agency contract vehicles? Are they using small business set-asides? Do they procure or do anything under the simplified acquisition threshold? That's up to $250,000 with the government. And do they do micro purchases? That's up to $10,000, okay? Little small contracts, but if you're just getting into business, finding out about SAT opportunities and micro purchase opportunities is a way to get your feet wet, get you past performance, and get into the government. You need to identify who's winning the contracts. The government's selling, if the government's buying what you do, now who's winning those contracts? Large businesses, small businesses, doesn't matter. These all at some time could become potential teaming partners to you. Some of you may not be primes yet. Your business is existing on subcontracting. That's fine. Okay, I've counseled many businesses who have good revenue streams and they have never primed a contract. Okay, they have become subcontractors and valued subcontractors to large and other small businesses. Okay, the site that I like to point people to, my clients and businesses to find out, does the government buy what you're selling, is usaspending.gov. Okay, this is the official source of government spending data. If you haven't been out there, I suggest you go out there, look at usaspending.gov. It's a fairly easy system to navigate. They have resources out there for training, videos and things that will guide you through how to use the system in depth. But if you go in and just select the award search and go under advanced search, it will bring you to this screen where you can set your parameters for almost anything. You can search by keywords, you can search across fiscal years, you can search by different award types, you can search a specific agency, you can search a specific company, okay? You can search by location, NAICS codes, PSC codes, set-asides. It gives you all of these parameters that you can search by. You will end up with a result set, and then you can take that result set and look at it in different ways. You can download it into an Excel spreadsheet, so you can take the data and chop it up and do whatever you want to do with it. But within this system, you can look at spending over time. You can look at a map of where the places where the work is done. You can also switch that map to see the places where the companies reside that are winning the work. You can use the category button there, and that will break it down by agencies, and then you can break that agency down by sub-agencies. This was a search that I did with for DHS, and you see it broke it down by the different sub-agencies within DHS for whatever parameters I had in there. Okay. This is a great tool. Again, if you need to know, does the government buy what you're selling? This is a free tool. You don't even have to log in to use this tool, usaspending.gov, okay? Now, of course, you want to find opportunities, okay? SAM.gov, you've probably heard of FedBizOps. Well, FedBizOps now lives in SAM. If you go to SAM and do know that you do have to have a login.gov account to access SAM, go into SAM, select contract opportunities. When you come to the next screen, select the advanced search link there, and it will bring you to a screen where here you can set different parameters to look for opportunities. You can look for RFIs, you can look for sources sought, you can look for back contracts that are back opportunities that have been awarded, okay? Let's say you're looking at a recompete of something and you want to find the previous proposal so you can get an idea of what the government was looking for. If you have the name of that opportunity and the agency, you can come into SAM and search for it. Down at the very bottom of that search window, you'll see a button. You'll see two selections down there, one for active and one for inactive. You want to select the inactive one if you're looking for back contracts. Okay. If you're on GSA schedule, use the e-library, okay? And you have to be on schedule to get access to e-library. There's the link to it, but you can search by categories, contract information. You can search by contract holders' names and their contract numbers. You can search by government contact information. You can see the catalog and price lists out there, okay? And this is their entry screen here. DLA DIBS, if you're into providing products to the government, DLA DIBS is a great system that you want to go ahead and register and get access. This is with the Defense Logistics Agency. They provide products to, of course, the military, other foreign governments, our embassies all throughout the world, okay? So if you're selling products, if you're moving stuff, okay, if you're a logistics company and you know how to do shipping for the government, provide logistics and trucking for the government, warehousing, this is the site that you want to be on. And here is their site. And then one of the greatest tools out there, and you heard Dion talk about it earlier, is government forecast. She received a forecast list from DISA earlier this week. She sent me a copy, I looked at it. But a government forecast, if you go on to, they usually can be found on the agency's small business or ASDBU website. When you go onto that website, look for a link or a title for either the forecast of opportunities, or if you don't see it specifically there, most agencies will have a link on there for doing business with that agency. And underneath of that, you may find that forecast, but find the forecast, list of opportunities that this is the work that they say that they are going to procure. Okay, it will show contracts, it will show new contracts, it will show recompetes. It may show contracts where they are going to award. It's an existing contract, they're going to award the next year for it or whatever, okay? But it's a great place to look for opportunities, to start gathering information about opportunities. They generally do these for the upcoming fiscal year. We're at the last month of this fiscal year. Some agencies have already populated theirs for government fiscal year 23. Some agencies, it may take them up until January to get a new one out there. So just keep that in mind. But for your targeted agencies, locate and find their forecast of opportunities. Some agencies have very good dynamic search engines with their forecast, where you can go in and set parameters and run a report, and your results, similar to SAM, similar to USA Spending, will come back to you on the screen, and then you can download them into a spreadsheet or whatever, okay? Some agencies just provide a downloadable Excel spreadsheet, but you can download it, then you can take it and manipulate it and do what you want. There are agencies who, for some reason, will release theirs in a PDF file. You can't do anything with it, but look at it, okay? Do some searching on it, but it's not easily manipulated for your use, okay? And again, these forecasts are updated somewhere between September and January for the next upcoming fiscal year, or the current fiscal year, if it's not updated by October 1. Most of them will contain opportunities for that fiscal year. Some of them do go out further into outer years, okay? If you're looking for opportunities, I suggest that you look for opportunities that are at a minimum 3 to 4 months away. Okay, that gives you time to gather information on. That gives you time to identify and verify that that opportunity is real. Remember, I stated earlier, you want to find out if it's funded. Is there a champion? Who's doing the work, who's procuring this work within the government, okay? Without funding, an opportunity is not real, because the government cannot do procurement on an opportunity if it's not funded, okay? You wanna have time to, did I hear someone chime in?
Michael, just a quick question on the forecasts that these are done. Are these permanent for the year, or are there times where they update these forecasts?
Great question. It depends on the agencies. Some of them will just dump everything out there one time. Some agencies will update it throughout the year. Great question. Just depends on the agency. Okay. And when you look at these, they will give you a lot of information. They will tell you, you know, they would provide you with a name, a brief description of what they're looking for. They'll tell you what NAICS code. They'll talk about their procurement strategy, whether it's going to be full and open, whether it's going to be small business set aside, whether they're going to use a GWAC or one of their internal vehicles for it. If it's going to be set aside for small business, and if they're carving it out for a specific socioeconomic category, they may address that as well in there. Hopefully, they will provide you with a government point of contact, and that government point of contact's contact information, whether it's a telephone number, whether it's an email address, or whether it's both, because you want to be able to reach out to people to inquire about the opportunity. Okay. And then with the PTAC, I talked about this earlier. If you are a member of the Virginia PTAC, and I think every PTAC in the United States has access to this service. It's called Bid Match Service. Okay, it's a subscription service. It's $150 a year. You set up a profile of your company based using keywords. So let's say if you've set up your SBA profile and your SAM profile, you can take the keywords from your SBA profile, plug them into this and plug it into this system. You can take your NAICS codes, even though we advise not to use NAICS codes because they're so broad. It's better if you use your PSC or FSC codes as well. You can select which states you want to look for opportunities in. If you just want to focus on the DMV area, you can select Maryland, DC, Virginia. If you want to focus on the entire country and see what's coming out across the country, you can do that. It scrapes the federal procurement systems, DLA DIBS, it scrapes Fed BizOps, any other systems that are out there. It will also scrape the state and local government systems, and it will send you a daily email. Whether or not it finds opportunities that match your profile, you will get that daily email, and that's 7 days a week. Okay, $150 a year. It's a good tool if you don't have anything else, but you will have to join the PTAC to be able to take advantage of it. And here for my last slide, here's our link to where you can get to us, to where you can register. Again, our counseling, our services that we provide are free to you. Okay, our training, we do a lot of virtual training, so you don't have to go anywhere. You can sit right there at your computer, watch training. Some of the training is recorded, so if you register for it and can't attend it the day that it's offered, sometimes the training will be recorded and you can watch the playback of it. Okay, but reach us. There's our email at ptac@gmu.edu. My email information is on the first screen. My email, if you want to reach out to me directly, is mtownnse@gmu.edu. The best way to contact me is by email, and I generally try to respond to emails within 24 hours. All right.
Okay, Michael, thank you so much. Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
For the people that are new to government contracting, a lot of people are having trouble getting in. And I've heard more than once that the micro purchases and the simplified acquisitions are the best way to get in. Can you tell us, how do we find those opportunities? What is the best way to get those micro purchases and simplified acquisitions?
Great question, Dion. All right, so FAR rules, these are the federal acquisition rules, state that anything above $250,000 has to be in SAM, okay? You can find some simplified acquisition purchases in SAM, you can, but the best way to find out about them is to inquire with your targeted agency, okay? Ask them, do they do it? How can you find out about them? Do they have a list of them? Okay, because they will do that.
And you're talking about the small business office or
Small business office, if you are in contact with a contracting officer, you can ask them as well. Yes.
Okay, and the second question I have is, when you looked at the DISA forecast list, I know that you sent us several questions about facility clearances, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Did you see anything on there that makes you think, yeah, this is something that's worth pursuing? Just to get an idea. I mean,
Right. And that's why I sent you those questions, because when you sent me the list, what I noticed first offhand, that the majority of the opportunities out there, you have to have a facility clearance for. You have to. Okay. And if you don't have a facility clearance, you won't be able to bid on them. You could team with someone who has a facility clearance, and then as a team, you could bid on them. But the majority of the opportunities that were out there, because it is coming from defense intelligence, you have to have a clearance to go after them. So if you're in the IC space, okay, then yes, look at that list. I don't know if Dion will share it with everyone, but look at that list. It was a very thorough list, giving you description, name, title, points of contact, how they plan on procuring the services on there. So it was an extensive list that provided a lot of information. But again, unless you have a clearance, there's nothing you can do with it. Okay. You can have cleared resources, but not have a facility clearance. But then again, you will need to team with someone who has a facility clearance, okay? And if you want to know more about the facility clearance process, go to dsca.gov. That's the Defense Security Contracting, I believe that's what DSCA stands for, but look for dsca.gov. And when you get onto their site, there will be a link for facility clearance. And there's trainings, there's videos out there. If you scroll down towards the bottom of it, they have a checklist. The most important thing that you need for a facility clearance is a sponsor. Okay, you have to have someone sponsor you, whether it's a federal government agency, or if you are supporting a prime, providing them with cleared resources, and you're supporting a prime, they can sponsor you for a facility clearance. You have to have a reason to have a facility clearance, meaning you have to have work in that cleared space. Great question.
Does anyone else have questions?
Yes, Michael, I had a question. This is Sam Nixon with Humble One. And I had a challenge, as you mentioned early on, about just getting the SAM process there. I had gone ahead and done all of the filling out of the SAM application, and then there were just 2 or 3 areas that I wanted to double check with someone who could provide clarity on what those questions were in SAM. So I was attempting to reach agencies, someone who could help me with that. And at that time, we were still in the midst of COVID last year, I think. So your office wasn't open to coming and meeting in person.
But Sam, you can meet with us virtually. Okay.
Okay.
I'm sitting here in my lovely home office, and this is where I've worked and supported the Virginia PTAC from. I joined them in the middle of COVID 2 years ago. Even though I do have a physical office on the George Mason or at the MEC, we do all of our meetings virtually right now. So if you reach out to the Virginia PTAC, register, join the PTAC, you will be assigned a counselor, and any of us can step you through the SAM registration process and help you with that. Okay,
and related to that is, how long roughly does the process take once you have submitted to the system there? I've heard anywhere from 2 to 3 or 4 months to half a year.
No. It's not that long at all. If you have everything you need, they generally turn it around within 5 to 10 business days, and you're registered. Okay. If you are providing now, SAM has gone through some changes since April, and that's why You may have heard someone giggling in the background when I was talking about SAM, because you have to prove that your company exists. Okay, and hence has been some of the problems with SAM. Okay, proving that your company exists. You may have been registered in SAM for many years. Now you've got to prove that you exist. So you have to provide them with certain documentation. Okay, your name must be exact. It has to be exact match with your EIN or your IRS registration. Okay, if you have commas in your name, if you have periods in your name, if you have special characters, if it's not there, SAM, you may see it, SAM may not see it because the IRS doesn't have the exact name. Okay, so that's part of the difficulties we're going through with a lot of companies right now who have been in SAM for years. Whatever they did in upgrading their system this year, when they switched over to the UEI from the DUNS number, caused all kinds of identification issues. So we spend a lot of time helping companies through that. But once we get it straight, it's still 5 to 10 days for them to.
Okay, thank you very much, Dan. I'll follow up with that. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Great question.
Hey, I'll jump on, and going back to Samuel's question, like I do agree that the SAM takes a while, but if you're looking to get your cage code, you always got to remember cage and everything else. I had to turn around a JV. It took about a month to get everything because, cage code, they're like, we'll be back in 10 days. No matter what you do, we're going to be back in 10 days, regardless of what you do. So,
right.
At least on our internally, if we had to do I've been telling people internally, if they had to do anything, give yourself a month. Like if you have a proposal due less than a month, you're going to be reaching, because just in case, just getting everything turned out and get it, just waiting for like your cage code just takes a while, right? Those are just things you can't do. I have a couple of questions, and there's some people that didn't call in. So I got some emails. So there's a couple of questions here, and there's no really methodology to the question.
Okay.
And this is something you could turn later. One thing a lot of people tell you to do is look at the DSBS, the dynamic search. I think the SBA one. Do you have an example? You don't need to do it right now, but do you have an example that you can send out to us later on of a good example of a good entry? Because a lot of people have those things. Like everybody says, go check that database. And then, as you've probably seen it many times, there's been some really good examples and very poor examples. And so, go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So what he's talking about is this is your registration in the SBA system. That registration is very important because large businesses, government agencies use that system to look for small businesses. Okay. Now, the majority of the information in that system, it's going to pull from SAM. So your contact information, your NAICS codes, information like that that's in SAM, it will pull from SAM. Okay. What's important to you is, number one, please put in a capability narrative. Okay. Please tell people what you do, what you sell, whether it's a service or a product. You do not need to, it's 1,000 characters, including punctuation and spaces. Okay, so you have 1,000 characters there. You do not need to tell them your name because they'll see that on your profile. You do not need to tell them that you're a woman-owned small business located in Northern Virginia. They can see all of that in your profile. Take that 1,000 characters and put in a good description of what you use. Okay, think about descriptive keywords that also describe the service or the products you offer. Get those into that narrative as well. Okay, the second most important thing in there is a list of keywords. This is just a comma separated list of words that are descriptive of what you do. So let's say if you provide IT services, okay, you provide DevSecOps, you do agile software development, you do whatever, cloud, migration. That's what you want to build, that keyword list. It will take 25 items up to 525 characters, including the comma. It's just a comma separated list of words. The key thing with your capability statement and your keywords, when I or a user go in to search, sometimes we're looking for people to do a particular thing. I'm looking for long distance trucking companies. Okay, I can put that in as a search and it will bring me back every profile that it matches on. Okay, let's say I'm looking for women-owned small business, long distance truckers in Texas. I can put all of that in there and it will bring back to me everything that matches. Now, the problem I have with it is when those profiles come back, they come back to me in a one-line, a list of one-liners, okay? And there's no capability narrative. So I'm going to skip your profile. You may be the exact company I need, but I don't know what you do. And if I click on your profile, that means I got to spend extra work trying to figure out what it is you do, okay? So I'm going to skip yours. Okay, and go to the ones where I don't have to do as much work because they've taken the time to do that. So if you haven't looked at your SBA profile in a while, I suggest you do it. Okay, there's two ways that you can get to it to edit it and update it. One is to step through SAM. You'll have to go into SAM and update your SAM profile. And one of the next to last screen you get to, if it is working, is a link that will take you into the SBA system. Okay. Now, with all of the issues that SBA has been going with, that SAM has been going through recently, that link is sometime. It's either there or it's not there. If it works, it may be very slow. The other way that you can edit your SBA profile, do a search on SBA GLS. That's SBA G as in George, L as in Lisa, S as in Sam. That is the way that you can create a login that will allow you to go directly into the SBA database and update your profile. Okay, that's a workaround rather than doing it through SAM.
All right, thank you for that, sir. And you know, because going to what it's saying is right now there's a lot of people who are putting that in your entry. People don't put the right words in there. They think they're nailing it, right? But no one knows what those terms are, or not putting in like, recently last year, I end up putting my contact info, my contracts in there so people could see that as well. So please, everybody, take a look at that. And also with that, and then another question that came up, and it probably goes along with the last one also, but I think these are probably similar questions. I should have just said it, like the capability statement. I know you could do the 1-page, 2-page, backside, all side, but do you have a site you could send us that shows people what is good and bad? It's subjective, I give you that, but it's one of those things that there are some best practices that people have been doing this for years now that you could probably take a look at, that if you have either good examples or a good website or some information or a chart package you could send to the group so people could look at it and see and get the stuff good.
I tell you what I can do. I can send to Dion in the chamber a sample of good, what I feel are good, well laid out capability statements, okay? And I can also provide you with a Word template. If you don't have one, you don't know where to get started or how to get started and what should be in there, we have a template that we use with our clients. I think I can share that. Let me check and get permission from the PTAC, but I think I can share this with the chamber, and then she can send that out to you folks as well. Okay.
All right.
I'll even, or register with the PTAC. I was going to say, if you reach out to me directly and say, hey, Michael, can you send me those examples? I just put my email in the chat window. And also, this is recorded. I will provide Dion with my slides for today as well. If you reach out directly to me and say, hey, can you provide me with capability statement samples and examples, I'll send it to you as long as I don't get bombarded with stuff. So.
All right, I'll defer. I know there's another question. I got some other questions, but I'll defer to, I think William has, I'll defer to him real quick.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, everyone. Aaron, you may notice earlier I attached our company's capability statement. Please take advantage of taking a look at that. I'll ask that if you get any feedback, positive or negative, send it back to us. But we did work with some people to get that done. It is one page, and if it can help you, great. I just ask that you provide any kind of help you can back to us, but you can start with ours.
All right, very good. Yeah, and like I have a 1-pager, I got a 2-pager and all that. Do have a question for you now. If anybody else has a question, please jump in. If not, I got questions for days. Because like it's weird as as you grow. Last year, as a growing company, got our first government contract, got a couple subs and stuff. You get to the next level of questions. For you, question for you, if this is personally for me. So post RFP, this is something I'm going through right now.
Mm-hmm.
Post RFP submission.
Mm-hmm.
What are best practices on when you should reach out to the Corps after you submit one? And when you don't know the award date, when is the best? What have you been hearing is the best time to? Or this could probably be after a source of SOT or anything. Also, what is a best practice on when to reach out to the Corps and to inquire about the contract?
All right. So once an RFP has been released, and especially post-submission dates, remember the government is making their decisions, okay? We don't know, and there's no rhyme or reason for how long it should take to make a decision. We just don't know. It may be caught up in a funding cycle to where they have permission to go after it, but they don't have the actual funds yet to start the work. So that's why they haven't announced the winner. They may have reviewed the proposal responses and they may not have received what they thought they were going to see. Okay, that will take time, okay, from the responses. And that comes about because they didn't put out a good proposal to ask for what they wanted. That happens, okay? So there are a lot of things that go into how long it takes for the government to announce, okay? Generally with an RFP, they will tell you their approximate award date. If it goes past that approximate award date that they tell you, reach out to the CO with a nice kind email and say, hey, just want to know status or on award on this, okay? Send them a nice little email. They may or may not respond to you, okay? Just be aware, they may or may not. Sources sought or RFIs, requests for information, are different. This is the government doing market research. They do not have to respond to you just because you sent in a response. That is a FAR rule. Okay, so do understand that because you responded to an RFI, the government doesn't owe you a response. They are doing their market research. They're trying to see who's out there, who can do the work, especially if they're considering setting aside that opportunity for small business. There's the rule of 2. If they find 2 credible sources, that's enough reasoning to set that opportunity aside for a small business, okay? So that's the purpose of RFIs. They're trying to see, number one, can we get what we asked for or what we're trying? Can we get the solution we're looking for or the product we're looking for, whatever it may be, okay? Are we looking at the right technology? Are we looking at the right platforms? Is there anything else out there in industry that we should consider? Okay, and so it just depends on how they structured the RFI. Okay, will depend on the information that they get back, but that's the government doing sources sought RFIs. Is the government doing market research, and they do not owe you a response.
Michael, something
Yes.
that I never really understood. We're encouraged to create the DSBS profile.
Mhm.
And I don't understand if the government is looking for 2 or more small businesses to do a job, why don't they just go to DSBS? If they're looking for women, just search in DSBS for women. If they're looking for service disabled veterans, I mean, so I don't understand what are we using the RFI for if we have the DSBS database?
Well, number one, the DSBS doesn't, even though you're putting in information, it may not provide enough information. Okay, it may not provide enough information.
But I mean, I guess my guess is there are so many businesses that are registered in there. It seems to me if the government just said, hey, we want, like the example you gave with a female-owned loan trucking company, they'd go in there and search, find, however many women are there, write to those people specifically and say, hey, if we put this out, would you bid on it? But I've never had anybody contact me from DSBS and say, hey, I found your profile. I'm looking for someone to do X, Y, and Z. And so it just seems to me like, I guess I don't understand what is the rationale behind the RFI if the DSBS profile, the database is there.
I understand what you're saying. And I can cite instances where the government has found profiles or companies that they think can do or offer what they're looking for, and they have reached out to them and said, hey, we're going to bid this, would you consider bidding on it? We found your profile. Okay, I have instances where they've done that. As when I look for a large business, the DSBS was my friend when I was helping our proposal and capture teams build and look for potential subcontractors. I would use the DSBS system. I would use our in-house system. I would use some of the, I would also search the capability statements and stuff that I had collected during my travels and meeting with companies. So all of those were tools that I use to help find qualified subcontractors that I could introduce to my proposal teams or my capture teams. And of course, they made the final decision on who to team with, okay? The other thing with the DSBS system, that is the system that SBA uses to record your certification. So when you are certified as a WOSB with SBA, that date and your number goes into that system. If you're 8A certified, that date and your number goes into that system. Same thing with HubZone. SBA is going to take over the veteran and SDVOSB certifications coming up sometime in 2023 or 2024, that certification will go into that system as well. Okay, so that system, that's there as well. I understand, I hear what you're saying. But it is a useful tool. I do know that the government uses it. Okay, I know that large businesses use it as well.
Okay, Sam Wiggins is the head of the chamber, and he and I started last year calling different ASABUs and different agencies to introduce the Black Chamber to these agencies and the small business offices. And we spoke with the Department of State, and I can't remember what her name is, but when I asked her, why don't you guys use DSBS to find people? She asked me what that was. So that's kind of,
yeah, I don't know. I know who you should have spoke to at Department of State and the Small Business Office, and that would be Anna Ehrman. And
she is. That's who we spoke with.
I'm surprised she told you she didn't know what that was. Okay?
Yeah, she had no idea. So I thought that was, I mean, it's pretty consistent with the experience that I had. But I did want to follow up with one thing that you said. When you said that when you're trying to help people put together teams, Is that a service that you provide? Because I think a lot of small businesses, and I know I've had this experience, I will see an opportunity and it is so big
Mhm.
and there's no way I can do it by myself, but I can do a small part of it. But I have no idea how to find a team to join. And I can say, hey, I can do this one part, I'm service disabled veteran, I'm female, this kind of thing. But so I'm just trying to get an idea. And my guess is a lot of people are looking at the same, looking for the same service. Do you provide, does PTAC, I guess, provide that service where you can help us find a team to join or help us build a team based on the other members of the PTAC?
So yes, and what we generally, we will have our clients reach out to us and say, hey, I'm looking for someone with experience doing XYZ, or I haven't seen where we've done it with a particular opportunity, but I don't know why we couldn't do it. Okay. I don't know. My individual clients that I handle, I have referred them to other small and large businesses, especially if I know they have a capability that they're looking for. Okay. Or in doing counseling with them, they're saying, hey, we're looking for someone to support us on this effort and we don't have this experience or this skill set. Do you know of any companies? So I will refer some of my better and well-prepared clients to other clients. Yes, but I don't know why, if you came to us with an opportunity, I don't know why we could not do it. Again, I don't run the PTAC. I'd have to run that through them. But if you send it over to me, I would love to use you as a test case and see what we would do. Okay.
Also, well, along that same line, Michael, I'm glad Dion mentions that, because I'm in the process now of trying to put together across the country folks that do what we do in education and training in the justice related systems there. So when the RFPs come out related to large opportunities that my colleagues in Dallas and New York and Chicago who are doing, who we've already agreed to work together, can be in position to make the application. But we didn't know, as Dion said, in terms of what processes that might, what resources might be out there to assist us, one in both knowing kind of how to have the team structured and the timing for it. So I appreciate that question in a special way as we've been working towards that in the last several months of how to structure that. And I did want to just ask, along the line of the capability statement discussion a few minutes ago, if you can add to that, or someone can add to that, in the context, as we all know, the government's vernacular with acronyms. Are there good sources for those who are new to the federal government and trying to navigate themselves around? And I say this jestingly, having done MOUs and some subcontracting with the government, all of the things you got to navigate through just to know what those acronyms are. So I chuckle when Dion said she talked to somebody at State Department. What is the DSP?
Yeah, great. If you do a Google search on government acronyms, I'm pretty sure you can find an exhaustive list out there of common government acronyms that will explain. I know I dropped a few in my presentation today as well. As just I'm used to it from being in the industry. I remember when I first got into the industry, what is all of this? Okay, what is an IDIQ? What is GWAP? What does it stand for? So yes, if you just do a Google search, government contracting acronyms, I'm pretty sure someone out there has built a list of them out there. So
okay, thank you.
Mr. Brown, you have a question, sir?
Yes, sir. My question is as follows. How do you get copies of the winning procurement? Is there a database where the winning vendor procurement is available? And then second, do you see value in going through the vendor debrief for the company proposals that did not win? Thank you.
Okay, so getting copies of a winning proposal, is that what your question is?
Yes, so if you 5 vendors bid on an engagement, 1 wins, 4 get a debrief letter, and I want to know if there's a possibility of getting a copy of the winning bid.
No, that's company proprietary information. No, you're not going to get a copy of a winning proposal. You will not get this. Too much stuff in there that the government can't release and a company's not going to release. But whether you win or lose, do request a debrief. Okay, and if you request it, the government has to give you one. Now, they may do it by letter, they may do it by meeting or whatever, but do request a debrief, whether you win or lose. If you win, you want to know why you won. Okay, remember I talked about lessons learned. Okay, you want to know why you're won. It doesn't mean that your proposal was perfect, but it was good enough to win. Okay, so you want to find out what the government didn't like or question about your proposal, especially as you go into executing. Okay, if you didn't win, you want to know why. Where were your strengths? What were your weaknesses? Was it price? Was it my technical proposal? Was it my staffing program? Was it my management plan? You want to find out why you lost. What is it that you didn't score well? Why didn't you score well enough to win? Great question, Mr. Brown. Is this Hannah or Hannah? You have your hand up. If you'll unmute yourself. Okay, I think your question is in the chat window. You are asking, can a for-profit minority woman Black-owned LLC get government contracts before receiving minority classification? Can a business partner in the first 2 years? So the answer to your first part of your question is yes, because you can self-certify because you qualify as a Black minority woman-owned business. You can self-certify as a small disadvantaged business. So yes, you can, okay, get government contracts based on being a small disadvantaged business, okay? Can you partner in your first 2 years? Sure you can. Yes, most companies start off being partners with someone else. This is how they learn the government ropes. This is how they learn how to do federal contracts. So yes, sure you can. Great question. I'm just checking the chat.
Hannah asks, how do you self-certify?
When you register in SAM and SBA. In SAM, it will be a question about your minority status. You check off the box and you'll be able to self-certify. There are certain racist minorities that automatically in the government eye qualify for small disadvantaged business status. Okay, now if you want to take it one step further, you will get your business certified by the SBA as a woman-owned small business or an economically disadvantaged woman-owned small business. Once you've been in business for a while as a disadvantaged business, you can go after your 8A certification. Okay.
Now, Michael, you asked to put something in the chat about how to join. Are you talking about joining PTAC?
Yes, I've registered for PTAC, yes.
No, I'm asking Michael. He asked about joining. Are you talking about PTAC, Michael?
Hi.
I'm sorry, William. Are you
No
talking
worries, Dion. I'm talking about the chamber, actually. PTAC,
Oh, okay.
PTAC I Googled real quickly, so I got that one, and I'll be following up with Mr. Townsend soon. But I want to know how to get on board with you. I'm in the
Great.
position of, I know what to do in my part of the chain, and I need to link up with other people and go after bigger projects.
Great. Okay. And I encourage anybody here who is not a member of PTAC, please join. Michael is a great resource, and make an appointment to meet with him, and you can discuss your own individual needs. And if we don't have any other questions, we can thank him and wrap this up. Anybody have anything else? Okay, well, thank you so much, Michael. This has been really helpful. And hopefully everybody here, if you're not already a member, will join. Michael, I'm already a member. I'm definitely going to make an appointment to see you.
Yeah, yeah.
I would definitely be your guinea pig for seeing how this whole thing can work.
I welcome it, and thank you for the invitation. If there's ever a topic you want to talk about around government contracting, and you want to bring me back in, please reach out to me or Lisa Wood. She's the director of the Virginia PTAC. And if it's not an area that I feel that I can provide you the subject matter expertise, we have 10, 11 other counselors who are just as versed or even more versed in some areas than I am. And I'm pretty sure we can find someone to do a presentation for you. So
Sounds good. All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much. And everybody have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend, everyone. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.